Hey everybody, this is James with From the Dust Outdoors. I'm going to be bringing you my 5 tips for new backpackers. So I was just sitting here drinking my morning coffee and was thinking about things I've learned as a backpacker over the years from the first trip I went on. As you can see, I was definitely amateur at best on that trip. So I'm going to go through my 5 tips for new backpackers. We're just going to jump right into them. No point wasting time. Number 1 and number 2 kind of go together. We'll start with number 1. Packing too much stuff. You're going backpacking, you're going in the outdoors. You don't need your kitchen sink with you. As much as you think you're going to want to wash the dishes while you're out there, you're probably not. So really go through your gear, take a glance, go through it multiple times. What do I need out on the trail? And you would be surprised after you go through it a couple times and you put your backpack on a few times, you start to realize, hey, I might not need that. Some items that I took out the first time that I realized I just didn't need. I took a fire starter. I'm going with a group of people most of the time. We all have matches or a lighter. I don't need a fire starter and a match and a lighter. That's kind of overkill. So things like that, even though that seems very simple, you learn over time the amount of water you're taking, the amount of food you're taking, the type of food you're taking, all that added weight, you pack way too much. Do some research, check out videos, really kind of do as much research as you can to not pack in 40 plus pounds like I did the first time. Number 2, like I said, they go hand in hand, not packing enough. Some people will tend to do research, overanalyze everything without taking a logical approach. You're still new to backpacking. You don't know everything that you do or do not want to take out on the trail with you. There's going to be some things that some people take, some people don't. You're not going to know without trial and error if you want to take something or not. For instance, a saw. A saw is a great tool for firewood and whatnot, but it is an additional weight. So you have to really balance out weight versus need or necessity, or is it a comfort item, something like a sleeping pad, or other items like that that are kind of those comfort items. Some people, if they're trying to go ultra light, they'll do without those. So those are decisions you can make over time. Take it with you, see if you want it, if you need it. If it's just okay, maybe you leave it at home next time. Third thing, and this is one that varies within our channel alone. Myself, Josiah, and Chris have all different hiking styles. I am for getting my pack as light as possible, somewhat on a budget. I probably have a little bit higher end stuff than, say, Josiah does, who he has bobby pins on half of his gear to hold it together, but he's getting the most use out of it. And then you have Chris, who doesn't really need a bunch of gear, more into bushcraft, and that's his style, and he prefers more of the in-camp experience rather than hiking on the trail with a big pack on your back. So myself, I'm all for trying to knock out tons of miles. Get to camp, I tend to get bored in camp. I start roaming around, wandering around, trying to find something to do because I'm bored. So I would rather put in a lot of extra miles. So figuring out your style is going to help you out, because then you can purchase gear according to that. And whenever you're planning trips, it'll be a huge help, because if you're more of a hike a little, but I really like the camp experience, you're going to plan less miles throughout a trip. You might do a 4 to 5 mile daily mileage amount and be totally fine with that. You're not going to see as much on the trail, but you're going to have a great camp experience because that's what you enjoy. Same with if you just want to get to camp and go to sleep, log a bunch more miles, do 10 to 12 miles. So the best way to do that from a mileage stance, just kind of a kicker point, do day hikes in advance. Take your pack with you. See what your mileage limitations are from a physical standpoint, and then kind of plan according to that for your first trip, and then adjust after that. Tip number 4, pre-train. Before you hit the trail, do some day hikes. Get some exercise in. Some of those basic things that we take for granted that, we walk around the neighborhood with our dog or whatnot. But once you have a 25 to 30 to 35 pound pack on your back, huge difference. And the amount of calories you're burning with the elevation change on the trail is a huge amount. So get some pre-training in and then plan based off that along with what your camping style is. Number 5, kind of going off the training trend, when you're on the trail, stretch. Before you hit the trail, stretch. Before you go to bed at night, stretch. When you wake up in the morning, stretch. I can't preach that enough. I have avoided many injuries compared to some of my hiking partners on the same trips just by taking the time to do 5 minutes worth of stretching. It doesn't have to be anything insane. It's not like you're going to a stretching class at the local exercise studio. Get up, stretch out your hamstrings, your quads, your calves, your back. Take a little time, loosen up your muscles, get warmed up a little bit. That's going to help you avoid a lot of injuries once you hit the trail and make your experience a lot better, because you're not going to be cramping or dealing with a tweaked hammy or something like that. That's really going to tarnish your view of that trail and your experience on that trip. All right, guys. Well, hopefully you found those useful. Like I said, those are my tips, my opinions based off my experience. There's tons of variations of new backpacker tips out there. So if you have something that you wanted to say, comment down below. And there's always knowledge to be learned. So I'm not an expert on everything. So until next time, see you guys.